Okay, let's have a look at the answers to these puzzles. First, let's tackle the easy one. White to move and mate in 1. Remember, you can't attack your opponent's king with your king, so we need to use the queen. And you know that the best way to checkmate with the queen is to move it next to your opponent's king on a square where one of your pieces defends it. You can move your queen next to your opponent's king on f7 or g8. Which one of these is best? f7 is best. Your king defends the queen, and so your opponent's king cannot capture it. This is checkmate. Now let's have a look at the next one. White to move and mate in 2. At the moment, the white knight is stopping the black king from moving, so let's leave it where it is and look to see if we can give check with the rook or the queen. The rook can move to any of the highlighted squares, but none of these moves gives check. Let's have a look at what the queen can do. No checks in this direction. No checks in this direction. Still no checks. No checks in any of these directions. Right, so the only way the queen can give check is to take the black pawn on h7. But that doesn't look very good, because the black king will just take the queen. It's not defended. But if you're going to get better at chess, you need to be able to think a bit further ahead than one move. Watch what happens. In fact, the black king has to take the white queen. There is no other way of getting out of check. Okay, we've just given up our queen, so we'd better find something good. Our knight still stops the black king moving to g8, but now it stops the black king going to g6 as well. So the black king can only move to h6 and h8. It's time to give checkmate. And there we are. We gave up our queen, but we won the game. Now let's move on to the hard puzzle. Some serious thinking will be required, I'm afraid. Okay, we need to find a way for white to win whatever black does. Except this position is easy, because I've removed the black rook from f8. All we have to do is move our rook onto the 8th rank to check the black king, and the game is over. I know, black can block with the queen. But then we just take it with our rook and the game really is over. Okay, so that was quite easy, but only because we cheated by stealing black's rook. Let's put the pieces back, and let's put the black rook back on f8. There we are. We have half a plan. But how are we going to get that black rook on f8 to move? Well done if you came up with this move. Black now has 2 choices. If black moves his king into the corner, our queen can take the rook on f8 and it's checkmate. So black won't do that. Black has to take our queen with the rook. Great! Just what we wanted. The black rook has moved. Now we can move our rook from c1 to c8 and give check. Black can delay things a bit by blocking with the queen. The black king is blocked by its own pieces, and so the rook has to move back to block check. The rook on f8 is defended by its friend on f1. Again, we gave up the queen, but won the game.